Good evening, everybody on YouTube. This is Sparky Mike. Welcome to the Demonoid Drifter channel. Thought I'd show a couple Wyoming white clownfish hosting in a pink gonopora. In another edition. And we'll head downstairs. Wanted to give you an update as to my research as to my conditions and my pH issues with my system. I ordered basically some soda lime, 5-gallon jug of it, and ordered a 10 by 4.5 water filter housing, filled it up with the soda lime, and running it here and there night times when I see dips in the pH. So I'm not running it full time because it's kind of expensive, so I'm gonna try and use it and or automate it with probably some solenoids up here, run it off the Apex system to trigger on and off when the pH starts going down. Also, I got some good news yesterday from the same guy that I got the extra additional Apex system from, that he quit his aeroponic, aquaponic business kind of thing, and he had some oxygen generators. So I may be able to secure 1 or 2 of those and add those to the system to see if I can bring up the dissolved oxygen in this system, being a sump system in a basement. So I'm gonna see what that happens and try that as an experiment and see if that happens. Years and years ago, I heard from a guy 25-30 years ago about using oxygen concentrators like old people would use in the oxygen tube up their nose, and automating it to their systems and such way back 30 years ago when marine tanks and corals first started coming around, mostly anemones before the corals. But yeah, I remember him saying that, and I thought he was kind of crazy, but you know what? Almost 30 years later, here we are talking about oxygen generators now. So it's kind of neat. I guess they're several $1,000s or a couple $1,000s for a unit. I'm unsure as to the units or anything. They were just using an aeroponic or aquaponic setup. So maybe a cheap trade in labor, and he's a client and a buddy of mine, so I do jobs for him. So anyways, if you're gonna set up one of these filter housings with the soda lime, you might want to, I saw somewhere on a video from BRS about adding a little water in the bottom of it, but not enough to actually touch the inner canister. You don't want to get the media wet, but you need the humidity in here, apparently. I don't know if it's to make the color turn fully purple or if it's to activate the chemical itself, but I heard that you need a little moisture in here. Anyways, that was a tip for that. We've been fish hunting for the last several days. Went to a bunch of different shops. Saw a lot of sick fish. A lot of sick fish everywhere. And probably shouldn't have, but I ended up buying this anemone, and of course it was attached to the rock, so I had to buy the rock as well. But it's starting to come alive here, getting a little bigger now that the light came on. And of course we got some Phantom Extreme pair of clownfish to go out with. They're not hosting yet, but they just got put in here. So, and seeing all the sick fish and everything reminded me that I should probably remind everybody else, anybody watching this, clean your UV sterilizer. I spent probably an hour and a half last night pulling the quartz tube out of the center of this. First you disconnect it, disconnect the light bulb, pull the light bulb out, remove the quartz tube. You'll find that the quartz tube is absolutely covered in calcium. If you take a razor blade and actually just like you're scraping paint very gently and not with a whole lot of force because it is quartz like glass, and scrape the outer side of the tube. You'll be able to get the calcium deposits off a whole lot easier than you would with vinegar or CLR, and I wouldn't recommend CLR because I wouldn't put it in my fish tank, or even worse off, whatever residue. No thank you. I've tried vinegar in the years past and all the other things, lemon juice, so it doesn't really work. Just take the razor blade and gently scrape it, and especially if you run it under cold water, it'll chip off a lot easier, especially if you're adding a lot of calcium and magnesium in the system. You'll find every 6 months to 12 months it's just absolutely covered. So yearly maintenance, keep it up to shape or you'll have bugs. Well, there you are. A couple little updates. Everything here is actually for a rhyme and reason, including the cardboard. So have a great night. Thumbs up. Please subscribe. Take care.